Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Next Level Real Talk Podcast, where we have conversations on the journey of personal transformation and the pursuit of lasting peace and happiness with Sheldon and Hey, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Next Level Real Talk Podcast with Sheldon and David. Here we are.
Yeah.
Um, don't know when
Yeah,
you're
welcome.
watching this, but this is the first one in
Mhm.
2025. If
Whoop,
it's you're
whoop.
watching them in order, woohoo!
Yeah. We welcome you back after the Christmas season, Hanukkah season. We welcome you back after the New Year's. Hopefully you had a great time, you've rested. But we're starting out this new year, 2025. So the first one we're going to talk about, some things, and hopefully you are on a new journey, positive journey in this new year. And we hope you watched the movie Noel and the movie Last Christmas, because I did. I got to put some comments in our new posts because those were awesome. And so,
Awesome, awesome.
yeah.
Even if you're out of the holiday season, if you want just something that's inspiring and touching, I think those are both worth watching, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
they are holiday movies, Christmas movies, but you could still watch them now. It's still cold out, right? So,
Yeah. Well, not in Arizona. Yeah. So,
uh,
yeah, we
uh,
start out. By the way, I'm in Arizona. In
yeah.
Mesa, Arizona, and where it's starting the new year, it's 40 in the mornings and it's 80 in the afternoon. So other than that, you
Wow,
know, yeah.
wow,
So
80.
we're like whatever.
Wow, wow.
So yeah, hopefully it'll cool down a lot more so we can wear something cold in the afternoon. So
Hey, so we also would,
yeah,
it's it being the new year, we are looking back on our podcast, right? What the message was, what the purpose of the podcast was, but also if you all are watching this, if you have any comments or feedback for us, that we would be super welcome to hear that. If you wanted to message us, call us, phone us, or put it in the comments on YouTube, that would be great. Whatever you guys want to see for the new year, whatever
yeah.
kind of, if you are open to sharing with us what works for you, what doesn't work for you.
Mhm.
We would love to hear your feedback so that we can make this year even bigger and better. So
And
we're
what
super excited.
conversations can we have?
Yep.
What are the conversations? Because as our tagline, we talked about when we Sheldon and I first sat down and started figuring this out was conversations on the journey of personal transformation and the pursuit of lasting peace and happiness, and that's where we want to go.
Yeah.
And what's going to help you get there? We don't know. We're talking from just our knowledge and what some other people have told us here and there. But if you have something specific, like, hey, this is what I'm going through, this is something I'm trying to seek. We may not have that knowledge, but we can talk about it and find someone that can. So
Yeah.
let us
We
know.
wanted
Mhm.
to be a touchstone space for, a little uplifting moment in the week, some place where you can find a little bit of inspiration, maybe some ideas for how you can live a happier life, how you can find peace in yourself. Um, and everybody's journey is different, right? And everyone's unique and individual and what that makes them. And so we didn't want this thing to be particularly one dimensional or one sided.
Mhm.
So, your feedback and your comments and your ideas about what you want to hear, what you want to see are important to us, right? Because
Yep.
um, we're constantly trying to draw from our sources and our experience, like David said, but that's a limited perspective. So whatever we can get from those of you who are watching to help
Yeah.
us make the show even more, more beneficial for you, more inspiring for you, that would be helpful for us.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly. So
yeah,
yeah. So well, go ahead.
and for this particular show, we didn't really have a specific topic, like we kind of almost never do, right? But right, but we were looking at our tagline, which is journeys on the journeys on the journey
Personal
of personal
transformation.
transformation, and how to
Yeah.
find lasting peace and happiness. And the year 2024 was pretty chaotic year, right?
Hmm.
It feels like the last 4 or 5 years have been pretty chaotic ever since,
Yep.
2020 and COVID and all that, right? It's like the world got turned upside down, and it's still upside down, right? Um,
Hmm.
so we were looking at this particular year, and it feels like, we might be in for another continuation of on the physical world level of continuation of a lot of things that can feel chaotic, that can feel unsettling, that can feel disruptive. And so, for us, the message, I think that, we were talking about before we started recording was how do we find happiness in our own world, right? How do we find
Hmm.
peace in our own heart? How do we, share that with each other, right? And that
Yeah.
was kind of the message for this show, right?
And it's not ignoring what's going on outside our
Mhm,
little world, but
mhm,
it's just that's all going on. How do I find that peace and happiness and
right,
continue? Yes, life is struggling. Life is hard. It's not going to be okay. I'm at perfect peace and perfect happiness because if
right.
you are, let's talk because you need to be doing the show for us.
Yes, yes.
So you will
Come
be a
on the
guest.
show
It's
and tell
not,
us how you
yes,
did it.
please, because we need that help too. Um, but understand that we can still have that peace and happiness to a
Yes,
certain extent and have
yes,
all the chaos going on.
yes,
So it can coexist. So that's what we're
yes,
trying to get to. And
right.
um and some things we talk about today, we might be a little short, on our session today, but it's just the new year. We want to talk about how to get the year started off and we'll move from there.
Yeah, and part of that is what you pay attention to, right? And
Mhm.
so a lot of the spiritual teachings say what you focus on, you create more of, right? You're manifesting. It's an energy thing, right? So if you focus on the negative all the time, you're going to bring more negative into your life. Um,
Yep.
and whether you believe that or not doesn't really matter because the truth of the matter is what you focus on will affect how you feel. And that's just
Mhm.
science, right? So if you're
Yep.
constantly looking at stuff about the wars and all that, it will make you feel worse, right?
If that's
They've,
all you focus on
yeah, if that's all you're
24/7,
focusing on
well,
is
yeah,
the
it's gonna be a problem.
uncertainty and the chaos and murders and, the news and all that stuff, and it's all negative, uh,
Mhm.
you know, it will make you feel worse. Dr. Andrew Weil, who was at Harvard, Harvard medical doctor, he wrote a book called, was it called Spontaneous Healing in the 90s? And I remember that book as part of my early journey where he talked about this exact topic of, um, you know, don't pay so much attention to the news. And I was a news junkie. I used to read the Wall Street Journal,
Same here.
San Francisco Chronicle, NPR all day on the radio, the local news,
Mhm.
um, NPR News Hour, and then the local news again. I literally did that every day. I was super addicted. And at that time, I think it was right before the whole Monica Lewinsky Clinton thing. So that's
Mm,
how long ago
mhm,
it was. And I remember just going, "Huh, stop paying attention to news." So I stopped getting the paper. I stopped reading it. I What I would do was in the old days, they used to call it above the fold with the newspaper, the top
mhm.
headline that you could see from a newsstand, when they would pull the paper,
Yep.
boom. And I
Mhm.
would stop at the newsstand and read the fold, above the fold headline, and I would read the first couple lines and go, "Oh, so that's what's going on." And then I'd walk on and I would,
Yep.
so I
Mhm.
stopped paying attention and I felt better.
Yeah.
Like, so what you focus on, whether you wanna talk about it from a metaphysical, spiritual, deep kinda, perspective of, "Oh, you're gonna manifest and create more," or, hey, if you're just constantly paying attention to the negative stuff, you're gonna feel worse. That's the truth.
Mhm.
So keeping it simple and keeping it real like that, "Hey, what can we focus on this year?" You know,
Yeah.
and making some commitments for that. It's still early in the year, right? And we can make those commitments
Mhm.
to, what
And
are
we
those for yourself?
and we talked last week about, people setting goals and all this kind of stuff, and, we said smart, make sure it's a smart goal, okay,
Mhm.
that, sustainable, measurable,
And
uh,
sustainable meant small, the power of small incremental changes, right? Done
specific,
consistently over
yeah.
time.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Mhm.
What we're gonna talk about a little later too. So specific, measurable, um,
Sustainable.
attainable, real, and time bound. But it really doesn't need to be time bound. Just
Yeah.
like I have a goal that I've been working on, and it's not truly time bound, but it's like, well, yeah, within the next 10 years it'd be nice. But I mean, so you got to get somewhat in there.
Yeah.
But just do something that is. Don't go. Okay, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do something so huge, do the little steps first,
Right.
kind of work your way into it. So,
Right.
um,
Absolutely. And you wanted to talk about yours a little bit? Or
yeah, there's a couple things I could talk about that kind of me before the year started. I had a plan to lose some weight. I'll give the exact numbers. I was at 225, and at that point, it's like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. One, from my doctor talking about it, me just going, I'm overweight. I'm just overweight, and
and you had talked about last
during some
episode with the swimming season, right? that you kinda
Yeah.
got a little out of it in the heat. It was so hot
Yep.
this last year that you really weren't cooking for yourself, so you're eating out more, and all of
Mhm.
those kinda cascading factors sorta contributed to you ended up gaining a little bit
Yes.
more weight than you wanted to.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was just gonna mention the swim thing because, I mean, yeah, I'm a swim coach, so I
Mhm,
go before practice, swim,
mhm,
and then, "Oh, ooh, did my workout," or swam afterwards. Well, it didn't work out that way, and
mhm,
then with the heat being so hot here, I couldn't barbecue, I had to do stuff ahead of time, and I just didn't wanna do it on Sundays,
mhm,
just everything.
mhm.
And so, noticed that I gained a lot of weight. I said, "Okay, now's the time to do it." So I started working on it, and so, I am down to 213, so I'm down 12 pounds. Woo woo.
Wow.
Um,
And how
and,
long did it take?
so that was from just after swim season. So I'm gonna say the ninth was state. So I'd give it a week after that till I got myself in mental state of order. So about the mid mid November.
So 6
So
weeks,
mhm,
6, 7 weeks. That's awesome, dude.
yeah. And understand, I did not do meds. I did not do shots. I did not do any of that. It was just all
And nothing
a
drastic either,
mindset.
right?
What's that?
Nothing drastic.
Yeah. Okay. I did have one drastic thing. I had COVID for 3 or 4 days.
That
So I lost 5 pounds. So I got a bonus 5 pound loss because of COVID. I'm not saying get COVID to lose weight. Okay. Remember that. That's just a bonus that I got. So I used it. Hey, here I
but you didn't
am.
get it. Yeah, you didn't get it back.
Nope. Didn't gain it back. Because my decision was to, when I go out to eat, just eat half. Forget, let's say burger and fries. Yeah.
Mhm.
Carb, 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 and some protein. Well, I eat half the burger, half the fries, take the other half home, have it for lunch or dinner
Wow.
tomorrow, the next day.
Yeah,
And I'm not hungry. And
yeah,
I'm not. I would, and now if I eat a whole burger, I'm almost sick. I feel bleh, I'm
yeah,
too full.
yeah,
Um, Swimming, got back into my swimming, my regular
yeah,
routine. That's what
yeah,
I did every day after school. Would go swim. But then I started walking.
yeah.
Walk 2 to 3 miles a day.
Wow.
And that has really helped. And we were talking last week about how you get into a pattern,
Yep.
and so you have to change those patterns sometimes, and it's hard.
Mhm.
um, I'm telling you, walking, I think about it, I go walking, oh my gosh, this can take me an hour to go there, go back. Do I have an hour? I'm like, yeah, you have an hour. So that has changed to where it's okay to me for me to take that hour, because before that,
Uh-huh,
I don't know if I can take an hour,
uh-huh.
because it was a mindset.
Yeah,
So I slowly did things. I didn't walk every day when I started,
yeah,
because my time frame was different.
yep,
And so now I'm into the frame. It's not like I don't walk. Okay. He walked, yeah, 10 miles today, and that's why he's losing all this weight. And he swam, 6 hours today, like a Michael Phelps and all them guys. No, no, I'm just doing basic small stuff.
yeah,
And I'm making big progress.
yeah. But you're doing it
Yes,
consistently,
yeah,
I
no,
think.
and I know when I go out to eat, like when I was with some friends last night, I probably gained some pounds, but I guarantee it's going to go right off quickly
Yep, yep,
because of what I'm doing.
yep,
Um, and so the doing the small changes, doing the
yeah,
baby steps. I know
yeah,
I want to lose 20 pounds.
yep.
If I only think about 20 pounds, never going to make it.
Or it might feel like
So
it's impossible if somebody says, "Oh, I need to lose 100 pounds." And you're like, "I'll
yeah.
never get there." Then you don't even
Mhm.
start, So
Why
it's like,
start? 'Cause
okay,
that's 100 pounds.
yeah,
But you say, "Hey, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds."
you do.
My
Yeah,
mine was, I was at what I say, 225 is what it was? Yeah,
yeah,
225. So I said 5 pounds. Let's get down to 220. At
mhm,
least I'm at a number that I
mhm,
can look at.
yeah,
And I went by 220 so fast, it was ridiculous. I was like,
yeah,
"Whoa, is this a
yeah,
bad thing or a good thing?" Like,
yeah,
this is a little too quick. But it wasn't. And I look back and go, no, I'm just changing things.
yeah,
And my body's reacting to it quickly. And it was that quick drop because I was changing things. And now I'm down to the slower
yeah,
pace of losing weight.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, when I got down to 2 8, I think it was at two. I don't know where I was, but then I was like, wow, I'm doing really well. I was down 6 pounds. And then all of a sudden, boom, I lost the 5 extra pounds. So
yeah,
it went quick.
yeah,
so um but uh but yeah, so it's having a perspective in the mind. And as we were talking last podcast, it made me think that that's what I was doing. I wasn't looking at the whole picture.
yeah,
I think globally, act locally.
yeah.
So globally was my
Big
20
picture.
pounds.
Yeah,
I want to get down to 205, which would
yep,
be great. Um, and but locally, okay, yeah, that's it. But locally, what am I do? Okay, let's just do 5 pounds. Let's do two
or
pounds. Let's do two
or
pounds.
let's just modify the diet a little bit.
Mhm.
Let's add some walking,
Yes.
and we'll add some stuff back in that we used to do, and that's it, and not worry
Mhm.
about, it's almost like So, if you're listening to this, what can you take away? It's like I can't overemphasize that the power of small incremental changes done consistently, right? So
Yes.
that's the thing,
Mhm.
how can we look at this? What are we focusing on? We're talking about, focusing on the positive rather than, focusing on, taking care of your body, right? So,
Mhm.
um, because I'm a big believer energetically about, you're either doing stuff from a place of love or a place of fear, right? And so those are the two
Yep.
energies, right? Love and fear. And we don't want to do it from fear. Oh my God, I'm going to get sick, so I need to lose weight or whatever. It's like, you know what? I want to take care of my body. I want to
Mhm.
feel better. I wanna
That's
be
where I
able to
was
go.
coming from.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
wanna be able to hike that hike, go for a walk with friends. I don't I wanna be able to pick up my grandkids, or my
Mhm.
kids, and I wanna feel good when I do that. I wanna feel, I want this body, my temple, whether you call it that or whether you feel like it's a temple or
Mhm.
not or whatever, but I want this vehicle for myself to function for me, and that's kinda how I look at it. I'm not trying to be, you know, a super athlete or go to the gym and become a gym rat and work, but I do want my body to
Exactly.
feel good and I want to be able to move it or I want it to be able to take me through this journey of life, right? In a
Mhm.
way that makes me feel good, right? That I can go for a hike or go for a long walk or jump in the ocean or go swimming or whatever it might be, that I could do that without feeling like, I'm about ready to die or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
And it's hard as a former athlete to
mhm.
sit there because when you work out, you're doing hard, 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 hard because you got this big goal. I want to be in the playoffs, or I want to be the state champion in track. I want to be at the invite, or you got this big goal, so
So,
you're going for that. But now I'm like, I am not going to swim in any competition ever.
right.
Okay, if we do, it must be the dead people floating because I'm going to win that one. Maybe, maybe. I'm not going to do any walking contests
Right.
because that's just not, my body's not there. But
And
it helps.
comparison. You mentioned that last time, right? Comparison being, uh, the destroyer of things. Stop comparing yourself to others, and that would be another thing, right? Stop comparing, uh,
Mm,
your life to other people's lives, right?
yes,
Hey, we are all individuals and we're all on this journey. And how do we find peace in this moment, right? One of the fundamentals to finding peace, finding happiness is not comparing. So on this journey of, if we're talking an
exactly.
example of getting, in better shape
Mhm,
or, improving your health or whatever, it's just like, hey, you know, you're not number one, you're not the athlete, you're not who you used to be when you were 19. And you're not the person, your neighbor and the dude next to you and the dude, in the lane over or whoever
mhm,
that might be doing whatever they're doing. Who cares if they can run further than you and faster than you? Who cares? We're just
mhm.
out here, taking care of ourselves and supporting our own body and what it can do. That kind of attitude of like, let's not worry about what other people are doing so much as let's just take care of ourselves and let's find that.
And yeah, and comparing one makes you feel negative because if you start
Mm,
comparing yourself, to them like, gosh, they're doing that, I can't do that.
yeah.
So they're a different level.
Yeah.
I've been swimming. Okay, you jump in. You've never been swimming. You jump in and do your first workout. You're not doing what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm not doing. I'm
Right.
not doing a lot, but you're not definitely not going to do what I'm doing.
Right.
But you may surpass me pretty
Yeah.
soon. Depends on your level. And if I'm
I tried to do what
comparing,
you were doing one time. I don't
yes,
know
you
if you
did.
remember. I nearly
By the
died.
way, I'm gonna call him out real quick. So Sheldon was visiting. Was that when mom passed away? I don't know what it was, but
Yeah, you
Sheldon was visiting, and so I went to work out. So I'm going to swim with you. He swam 2 laps, hopped out, and went and worked out. He's like, dude, I'm done. This is hard.
Yeah.
So, but he was like, okay, I can't do it. He left. So that's fine. I didn't judge him because swimming's hard. So the comparing thing is one. I'm comparing myself and making myself negative. I'm thinking negatively about me, or if I'm saying, Sheldon can't even swim a couple of laps. What's this guy doing? He's doing aqua walk aerobics or whatever. Not even swimming. Well, that makes me negative inside.
Mm,
So even though I'm not being negative against myself and bringing myself up, I'm bringing that person down mentally,
mhm.
which is a negative thing, which is psychologically making me negative inside.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah. So don't
Judgment.
judge. Don't
Yeah.
judge. Just and don't compare. Just go out and enjoy it. Maybe they'll help you.
Yep.
If they're better than you, maybe they'll say, "Hey, try this on and think about that." You know?
So that's beautiful, dude. Judgment is comparing, right? It's a form of it's a an aspect of that game of comparing, which robs you of your own peace and happiness, right? So
Mhm.
I was listening to it's called Inspire Nation, I think is the guy's podcast, Michael Sandler, and he interviews people that, you know, are connected to the other side and channel and do all this kind of really interesting things. And he was interviewing a woman who channels this group called the Council. And whether you believe in all that stuff or not, she had a little
Mhm.
message that I thought was really, really cool. And it was, what does it feel like? So we thought this would be good for this year, right? So she said, this was her message for the year. What does it feel like to thrive, to flourish, to prosper, and to shine? So what does that feel like? And if we could do that as an exercise, I think that would be awesome. And I'll put a link to that in this thing. I want to give him credit, right? I think it's Michael
Mhm.
Sandler's his name. I don't listen to a ton of his stuff, but it came up in my feed. What does it feel like to thrive, to flourish, to prosper,
Mhm.
and to shine, to let your light shine, right? And she was saying that one of the biggest things to blocking that is our own self, that we
Mhm.
often don't allow ourselves to shine. We have, oh, I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, or I'm comparing and look at that person and all that kind of stuff, right? So she said one of the things, the other kind of mantra or thought exercise would be giving yourself permission. And what do
Mhm.
you need to do and how do you do that? But give yourself permission to thrive, to flourish, to prosper, and to shine, right? Like allowing yourself, giving yourself permission. I give myself permission to thrive. I give myself permission to
Mhm.
flourish. I give myself permission to prosper. And I give myself permission to shine, to let my light shine, right?
Mhm.
And saying that to yourself as kind of a mantra. And then the last thing she had was, I know who I am, therefore it is. And that was pretty powerful.
Mhm.
And that, you know,
'Cause
those are
you
some
are
pretty
you. You
yes.
are you. I'm not you. You're not me.
Right.
We're still going down the same paths of life, but you do things differently than I do. Because if we did
Mhm.
them the exact same, that's boring.
Yep.
Because then we're all just robots going through life. So it's
Right.
enjoy someone else's journey and how
Right.
they're going through it, if it's hopefully a positive one.
Right.
Enjoy that and don't think, oh, I need to be like that. No, you be you, but try to maybe adjust those things.
Mhm.
But don't try to be that person. Try to
Right.
be you with that kind of good positiveness.
Right.
So yeah, which is again our tagline, happiness, finding that happiness and peace. How
Yeah.
can I find that? And what is that? And be careful, well, happiness is as having $10 million in my bank account. Okay, is that really what you're looking for? No.
Right.
If that's your happiness, we have to retalk that whole thing. And what is peace for you?
Right.
Okay, and be honest. It's not the yeah, world. I want world peace. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna yes, we do, but what's at peace for you individually?
Right.
As we talked about, there's everything going on, chaos globally, but what's going on with you, peace and happiness inside,
Right. Thich
and the
Nhat
light
Hanh,
that
that
you.
Buddhist monk, be the peace you wanna see in the world, right?
Mhm,
You wanna see peace in the world, you have to be peace yourself. You have to find
mhm,
that yourself first. Um,
yeah,
and
mhm,
then when you let that light shine, that peace shine, that inspires other people to find their peace within them or to flourish or to thrive or to prosper, right? So
mhm,
in your own thriving, flourishing, prospering, and shining and being at peace, the more that you can do that for yourself, the more that you inspire others to do that as well. Whether you say anything to them or not, it's like your light will light the light for other people. So being that
mhm,
beacon, being that lighthouse, that's why all those images are there, right? In all the spiritual teachings, right? Of
mhm,
being a light, right? So the more that you're just happy and content with who you are and where you are in your world and your journey, that inspires other people to to seek the same for themselves, right?
yeah,
And we all
and
deserve that.
don't think like, well, I can never do that. I can never inspire people to do things like that. We all have our own ways. God has made it so that you have a purpose of something that you will touch someone's life. I don't care who you are, what you do.
Mhm.
One way or another, you're touching someone's life.
Right.
Hopefully, it's positive, not negative. Hope it's positive. Me, never. I say it all the time. Never wanted to be a teacher,
Yeah.
swim coach,
Yeah.
accounting teacher, librarian. What the
None of
heck?
the things that you're
All of
doing.
those things that I do were never in my radar at all. I
Yeah.
mean, there wasn't even a light of glimmer of, oh, in the corner, maybe I should do that. No, it was dark over there. So you don't know, and I look back on how many of those people in those realms that I've been in have touched my life
Yeah.
more or less that I've touched their life.
Right.
But so don't say, "Well, I don't know how I'm gonna do that." Well, just be you in a positive way and be you, the
Mm.
one person that you are, um, and try and be a light for the world.
Yep.
Of somewhat way, and you think like, "Hey, I'm gonna have peace. I'm gonna have happiness. I want to be a light. How can I?" Just ask how you can, and listen, and that will be revealed to you some way, somehow.
Yep. And hey, if you're still listening to our podcast at this point, we would love it if you liked and subscribed, and most importantly, shared this information or this podcast with a friend of yours, and also commented for us. It would really help us. So it helps the algorithm. So we would love it if you helped us reach more people that way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so just be you. Always, as we always say, go inside, be you, be who you are. Um, and
And
it's just looking at that light, what you are, because you have something. I just wish I could tell everybody you have a light somewhere, and I have become better at looking at other people, saying sometimes you're cranky, you're tired, you're busy, and you just don't want to talk to some people. I start looking like, okay, what's their light? Who
Mhm,
are they, and what is their light that they bring up? And it's been so rewarding that I can see that in people rather than going like, oh, I'm so busy and this and that.
mhm.
But just looking for that because they have something.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but there's something there.
So if you're still listening to this, then definitely please take a minute and think about,
Mhm,
focusing and finding the joy and the peaceful and the things that make you happy and moving towards those things. Uh, figuring out what makes you thrive, how you can flourish, how you can prosper, how you can shine, and using those as a little mantra for yourself, right? That I think that if we can all do a little of that this year, then what a beautiful thing that could be. We can set 2025, regardless of when you're listening to this, but if you can set that as a little bit of a goal, something that you're working for, you're
mhm,
working towards that, you're just implementing small incremental changes. How do I, what makes me thrive? Giving
yeah,
myself permission to thrive. How
mhm,
do I feel when I flourish? And what does that look like for me? And giving myself permission to flourish, what does prospering feel like for me? What do I have to do that? How does that look? And giving myself permission to do that, right? What does it look
mhm,
like when I shine? How does it feel when I shine? What do I have to do that? And can I give myself permission to shine? Little things
yeah,
like just that little mantra, I think, can be really, really powerful for all
huge,
of us as a
huge.
template for how we're going to start the year, on a positive note.
Mhm,
And regardless of what's going on, like David, like you were saying earlier, like regardless of what's happening in the outside world, we can all find that place within our own heart, within our own
mhm,
family, and then that spreads that light, will continue
yes,
to spread further and it will radiate, right? So
mhm,
the light that you find within yourself, the peace that you find within yourself will radiate to first your intimate relationships, your family, your close friends, and then it can go out into the community and further, and it can eventually be everybody that you connect with, and it will be
mhm.
no matter what. It is always everyone, um, and
One one quick thing, before we head out, because I know we're getting kinda close to the end of this session. Um, Kinda something that Sheldon and I were talking about a little bit, when I watched the movie, Last Christmas, Ed, it's Ed, right? Ed
Yep.
was the guy character in there, and I won't give away anything, but he keeps telling, Kate, who's the character, Kate to look up. He tells her, "Look up, look up, look up," and she sees things, like there's that fish thing or whatever. She, "Look up," and she
The
keeps
cricket.
looking up and looking up, and it was cool. And I'm going, "Okay, look up. Why?" And you'll understand later on down the road when you watch the movie. So, got to go watch it now. But then when I was walking, I'm walking, doing whatever, got my headphones on. I'm walking down the street, looking down, and Cheryl Crow comes on, Soak Up the Sun. And one of her lines, it's talking about going through stuff. And it's like, hey, look up. And she says, look up in the song. I'm like, hey, I've heard that before. And I looked up and I'm looking, I didn't look up. I did at that point. I went, okay, I looked up, because now that both things. But I looked up and I go, wait a minute, there's so much more right in front of me as I'm walking.
Yeah.
And I was looking down, not at my feet, but a little ahead of me at the sidewalk, at the leaves on the sidewalk. It's cool to look at leaves, by the way, that have fallen. It's fall for us, winter for everybody else. Um, and so I'm walking, but I look up and I'm like, wow, there's so much more out there. And so now I try to make myself make sure that I'm looking up.
It's
just
beautiful.
this way
Yeah.
to see what's in front of me rather than like what's right there. But there's so much more out there that I wasn't looking at. Like, oh, look at that green, the green from the golf course over there. Oh, look at that couple walking over there. So
You were
much more
that
fun.
you were becoming that old dude looking down at the ground, mumbling to yourself.
I wasn't mumbling. I was singing. Exactly, and that's exactly it, 'cause we get stuck in that little world. It's like, no, it's and that's just a little scenario of what's out in the world.
Yeah,
Look up and see what's out there. So
yes.
that is my new little mantra. Those came up both, and I love that in the movie that Ed always said that. And it's always like, just look up,
Yep,
look
yep,
up. And if you need inspiration, like for me, I look up, hey mom, hey dad,
yep,
hey God, how you doing?
yep,
It's kind of like that conversation. So yeah, so we're hoping that you guys just start off this new year. Hopefully, if you're listening to it now, great, it's new year. If you're listening to it later, this new journey. Let's
yep,
say it that way. Okay,
yep.
so hope you're seeing things, and as Sheldon said earlier, put stuff in our comments of what you want to discuss or hear about or have ideas about. We'd love to hear it because we'd love to reach out and find out more about it and help you out, or maybe have some guests that can really talk about those things. So
Awesome, awesome.
yep.
So, thank you so much
So
for
have a
listening.
Yeah, have a great 2025. Well, hopefully you'll come back next
Start
week
to
for the
the
podcast. Yeah.
Have a great start to 2025. Remember,
Yep.
what does it feel like to thrive, flourish, to prosper, to shine? And give yourself permission to thrive, to flourish, to prosper, and to shine. And
And don't
remember,
compare
I
others when
know
you're
who I
going through
am,
it.
therefore it is.
Yep. Therefore I am. I know it is. And don't compare yourselves when you're trying to do that.
Yep.
All the thriving and know who you are.
All right. Take care. Hey, thanks for watching that episode of Next Level Real Talk podcast. If you're still seeing this, please definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share with your friends and people that you care about, as well as give us a comment. All of those things can really help to us reaching more people. We're hoping to touch and inspire as many people as we can. So thank you for your support.